Didn't set up the window. Great start. There we go. Oh, there we go. Get a cough on the stream as well. Welcome to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. Just decided, spare of the moment, to get on and do a live look at team lists, given that it's just about to tick over 4 o'clock and it's not the fastest day um, in the world. It's currently 3:59. So as soon as that ticks over, I'll hit the old refresh and hopefully we get ourselves some team lists. Um, I guess probably the big questions are around the likes of an Adam Reynolds. Is he going to get up this week? We could squeeze another week out of a Thomas Duffy in fantasy. Obviously, some injuries in place at clubs like Newcastle, Parramatta, so there might be some opportunities there. But that's enough waffle because we've now got the team list. So Reynolds featuring on the front cover, which is always a good sign. Dylan Brown, Leo Thompson as well. So that's a big in for the Dogs, particularly with Max King out. But we will go through all the teams. So Cowboys and Seagulls is the first game on Thursday night. And for the Cowboys, Braden Burns on the wing, Zach Laybart on the other wing. So no Murray Taleni. He's out. And I guess the other one that I just noticed was out was Reed Marnie out. So Sonny Luke in. Um, and just having a look, they don't really have cover for him on the bench. Like Sam McIntyre could play, but 80 minutes Sonny Luke could be handy in our NRL fantasy teams in particular. Or if you're happy to sort of, have him on the bench or use him as a stepping stone in Supercoach. Not sure on his break even, but could be handy. Um, Kai O'Donnell in the second row. So I can't remember who's normally there, but I suppose whoever it is, they've been out for a while. Is it Jeremiah Nanai, perhaps? Um, yeah, so Sonny Luke, big in. Other than that, nothing too outlandish there. For the Seagulls, so the back line looks pretty full strength. Um, the forward pack, so it doesn't look like there's a lot of changes there, to be honest. Just Paul Bryan drops off. Um, Maybe Siwa Takiaha on the bench is a good in. Nathan Brown's there as well. So, yeah, I think pretty much as expected for the Eels, but nothing too fantasy relevant there just for now. Raiders and Storm. So, the Raiders, Matt Timoko comes into the centres. No Seb Chris. Has he been missing for a while, perhaps? I know. So, Seb Chris is on the wing. There you go. And Tamale drops out into the extended reserve, so that's interesting. Um, Forward packs, Noah Martin named to start, did come off the bench last week. Same with Corey Horsburgh, but yeah, a bit of chat that might have just been a 1 week sort of play just to reduce the young fella's workload a bit. Um, so yeah, I guess hold Noah Martin if you've got him until you see otherwise. And for the Storm, so Jack Howarth back in the centres. Waiteri on the wing, so he's been a bit of a super coach cheapy dud just because he's not get consistent minutes. And the forward pack, Joe Chan gets another crack in the second row. Cooper Clark as well gets named, but Sean Bloor comes onto the bench. Um, but I guess it's probably a case of if they play McDonald, Hetherington, Malale through the middle. Wishart will obviously get some game time. Bloor might not get a lot of minutes. Um, yeah, so I guess an interesting one there. Dolphins, Panthers. Dolphins backline looks pretty rock solid off the bye. Forward pack, not noticing any massive differences there. Um, Yeah, it looks pretty much the same as usual. No Kurt Donahue. So he re-injured himself, perhaps. Awesome. And for the Panthers, not expecting a lot of changes. Well, Isaac Tungo in for Casey McLean, who misses a week. It's probably not super coach relevant. Um, yeah, so I think the bench looks pretty standard as well. So yeah, not expecting any. Oh, Liam Martin out. That's right. So Luke Garner comes in on the edge. Could be one to look at, depending on price. Warriors Titans. So for the Warriors, so Tuapiki still at fullback. RTS moves into the centres. Khan Pereira on the wing. Um, so no Luke Metcalf, not anywhere. Um, Forward pack looks pretty much the same as usual, but the bench is interesting. C&K Mitch Barnett on the extended reserve, so there might be some weight changes there for the Warriors. And for the Titans, not expecting a lot of changes after their big win last week. Um, yeah, so I think, yeah, just the three ins are just the three on the extended reserve. So there you go. So Kurt Catewell was one difference. There you go. He's back. Neokoro moves to the bench. Rabbitohs, Dragons. So a big in for the Rabbitohs at fullback. Matt Duffy against his former team. Could be very interesting. Um, Up front, so Lockie Hubner gets a spot on the edge. So they're struggling for edges at the moment. So no day for feeder. So what's Fafita out for? Does not say. That's interesting. Yeah. So do we get off of Dave Fafita this week if he's not playing? There you go. And for the Dragons, so no Moses Sully, um, facial injury of some description. So Matt Fierney comes into the centres. Was hoping that David Farley might slot in there, but not to be. Um, Forward pack looks pretty standard. So it looks like Halangahu comes onto the bench as a bit of cover. Um, yeah, pretty heavy in terms of forward. So I guess Halangahu might be able to cover edge, or Sewer might have to push out if need be. Um, Tigers, Broncos. So the Tigers. So Talon May named. Um, Pat Herbert gets another game. So Macassini moves to the wing, which I think is good news for those that have him in SuperCoach and Fantasy. Jerome Luai named in the six, so Jock Madden probably stiff to go back to 14, but plenty of options there at the moment for the Tigers, which is nice to see. Forward pack, pretty much as per usual. So Luke Lalali'i comes onto the bench as cover, so Jarrell Skelton drops out altogether. Um, yeah, so nice one there. And for the Broncos, so Arthur's at fullback, Karapani, Mariner, Stagg, Shibasaki. So Adam Reynolds is named, but Thomas Duffy in the 14. So I don't know if Reynolds is 100%, but he may well play. In the forwards, so they've got Josh Rogers at hooker. So there was a bit of chat about Bukowski. The young fella would come in and get a start in 9. They got Corey Pakes floating on the extended bench as well. So um, yeah, they might be trying to get him cleared of concussion. Xavier Wilson gets a run in the 13, so that's pretty nice if you've got him in a draft sort of format. And then the bench, so I guess Vaz Semi would be a bigger middle forward type guy. Um, because they've got Tolte, Jaden Hunt, who I thought was more of an edge guy, but probably could play through the middle. And then Gajeski, it's definitely more of an edge type guy. So the interesting team lineup there. Probably not what we were hoping for with Tom Duffy or Bukowski getting a run as a cheapie. On to Sunday's games, Roosters and the Knights. So for the Roosters, Hugo Savala's an interesting one. This will be his third game, so his price is about to shift in Supercoach. Um, Albeit he is a second row slash 5/8, but could be an interesting sort of pod if you're looking to replace a Jonah Pezzett. Definitely something I've thought about based on the team selection. However, Billy Smith is in the reserve, so I might not fully commit to that. But then up front, Victor Radley in the 13. Surely that's got to be an in. No, same 19. I didn't see the Roosters game last week, so I wouldn't have a clue who actually played. And for the Knights, so Fletcher Sharp moves to fullback. Fletcher Hunt moves to the centres to accommodate Dylan Brown coming back into the team. So Brown and Smith in the halves, Sharp the fullback, Fletcher Hunt in the centres. So I guess sort of solves the Wilson to Corsi issue. And then Thomas Cant in for Dylan Lucas. So pretty handy option when he's being given minutes. And you would imagine, given a look at the bench there, that there is a few minutes on offer on the edges, given that Graham's a hooker, Saulo Hopwood, Manu Lalua, Manu Lalua. Uh, Pretty sure they're all middles. Kyle McCarthy's a centre, and Peter Holler, I think, is another middle forward. So, yeah, I think Thomas Can is one that I'm looking at bringing in both Supercoach and Fantasy. Cheap price, big minutes. Love to see it. Obviously, the break even's not fantastic, so you could have a look if you want. But when there's not a lot of other cheapies this week, he is very interesting as a option. And so then Eels Bulldogs to wrap it up. The Eels, so Sean Russell back, which is nice. Volkman gets another run in the 6. So Charlie Geimer and Jack Williams move to the edge, given they're struggling for edges. Saxon, is that Price? With spelled differently. um, I have no idea who that is on the bench. Couple of unsure names on the bench. Matelli. Might find out something about him down here. Yeah, so looks like Saxon Price are forward. So might be able to cover a bit of edge potentially. Matelli also. So his first one for this year. Nice. Uh, Tianka Brown, Namvo were named last week, so they get another crack too. And then the Bulldogs, so the back line same as last week, and probably the big change, Leo Thompson in for Max King, so pretty much a straight swap there. Pretty handy to get Leo Thompson back given Max King's injury, rather. Allows them to keep the same bench as well, so those sort of middle forwards, Man, Tupanua Hayes, do a great job off the bench. Josh Curran floating in the reserves as well, so he might sort of push up, and also Stephen Crichton in the 23. So it'd be very interesting to see how they run things if Critter is back, because they looked pretty good last week. You'd imagine Tuala would drop out, and I think if they look at last week, they just put Crichton back at right centre. You know, the left edge was humming last week, just like it was last year. Don't think they really had to fix a great deal there. Yeah, so that's the team list. So I think big ins. Leo Thompson, if you know you've got him for like a draft sort of thing in particular. Um, Thomas Can I think is probably cheapie of the week based on team lists. Um, Jerome Luai back. So obviously, if you wanted to bring him in SuperCoach and a little cash grab, I think that's not the worst option. Um, Matt Duffy, so we'll see what sort of price they give him. He wouldn't have been named in SuperCoach or Fantasy just yet, but hopefully soon, given that he has played before. He's never been the most relevant, but if he's cheap enough, you might be able to look at him in fantasy. I think Supercoach will be fullback only, so that's not really a go. Um, yeah, after that, I think there was too many ins. Isaac Tunga, I don't think's worth worrying about. Um, maybe just Sonny Luke for Reed Marnie, like for like replacement, could be interesting as well. But yeah, we don't need to go on for too long. So yeah, that's the team list for round 7. If you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, as always, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the team list stuff and the live streaming. Can't promise I'll do it every Tuesday, but as I said, it's a pretty quiet one today. So get on. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.